Hello, hello, ho, ho, ho. Happy holidays. Jingle bells, everyone, and welcome to Empowered Conversations, where I have amazing conversations with super extraordinary people who are out in the world doing beautiful things in service to others and just all around living their best and empowered, fulfilled lives. And that is none other than my guest today, Heather Roberts. She is amazing. I was just on her podcast a couple of weeks ago and it was major fun. But guys, let me tell you all about Heather. Heather has taken the unconventional way to entrepreneurship. She was a stay-at-home mom for 14 years, running the PTA, summer Bible school, fundraising, co-writing a cookbook. Whoop, whoop, love that. And not to mention toddler tantrums. Taught her that she could handle negotiating with any buyer, anywhere, any place, any time. It also gave her the foundation to co-found RSG Sales, an e-commerce account management firm for home decor and furniture suppliers who sell to Wayfair, Overstock, HomeDepot.com, and other major e-commerce accounts. After spending 6 years building RSG Sales, she had a realization. It was time to take everything she learned helping others grow their product business and do it for herself. In 2013, she founded E by Design, a decorative throw pillow company. Within 2.5 years, her company, E by Design, was a top 5 pillow supplier with Wayfair. The company was also featured in major publications and networks including House Beautiful, HGTV, Property Brothers, and Coastal Living. In 2019, Heather sold E by Design with a 7-figure plus exit. Since her exit from E by Design, Heather has refocused her efforts on her life's passions, serving women who are juggling the growth of their own 7-figure business and raising their families. Women need to create space by maintaining boundaries, leverage our strengths, and support one another. Heather is also the author of The Spark, SPARK system. Conquer today's e-commerce landscape the right way. She is currently working on her second book, which examines the concept of creating space to grow, live, and profit by living a boundary-filled life. Guys, help me in welcoming, drum roll please. And I'm going to be adding you to my Instagram, Heather Roberts. There you are. Whoop,
Hey,
whoop.
Stephanie, how you doing? It's so
I'm
good to
doggone
see you today.
fantastic. So I just sent you an invite to join the Instagram.
All right, let's make
Yeah.
sure I
So we can
got it.
stream every way possible.
All right, well, while I am doing that, y'all, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. I am so excited to have you. And where do you live, Heather?
Actually outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town about 20 miles north of Charlotte.
Okay, all right. Is that like Yadkinville?
Davidson.
Oh,
Hmm.
Davidson. Okay, well,
Yeah,
you live up here near me. I live in
yeah.
Huntersville.
Oh, yeah. So, like we live like less than a mile from Davidson College. So, I always say
Okay.
if people don't know where that is, like, have you heard of Steph Curry? And they go like, yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah,
yes.
where he
Yes,
went to
yes, yes.
college. That's how I always describe it to folks.
Awesome, awesome. So have you been able to join?
I have not, and that's why
Okay,
I'm
so
sitting here looking.
um, let's see. Okay, boundaries, invite. Okay, I just sent it again. And I got a snow thing going on Instagram. It would be Defa Rickenlicious, not Stephanie McPherson.
Yep, yep. And I'm like going like, where am I notified? Well, I don't mean to be the.
No, that's okay. We might not be able to do Instagram. We got Sill University joined.
Well, hello.
Hello, Sill University. Wave.
Hello. Okay, Stephanie, I am sorry, but I haven't
That's
received it.
okay. Boundaries. Are you in the same? Do you have a different invite?
Mm-mm.
Boundaries, business,
Nope.
Heather Roberts.
Yep. Heather Roberts, Boundaries, Business, and Boobs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's your picture. Either way, we'll just.
So sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Bye, Instagram land.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
that's okay. So, oh, it's unable to join. It says boundaries, business, and did you follow me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I got that notification. That is weird. I'm gonna try it one more. I don't give up easily.
Okay.
For some reason, it said
See,
you were
look,
unable to join.
here I am.
Yeah, and there should be like in your hearts a
Mm-hmm.
notification. Hmm.
Not there.
Okay. All right. We are just going to stop the live and now.
So
Okay.
sorry.
No,
Yeah, like it
don't even
didn't
worry
go
about it.
there.
Don't worry about it. We're good. You
Oh.
know what? Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. That's just
All
how
of those
things
things.
go.
Let's
Yes.
redo. All right.
Exactly. Everybody, my
Sorry.
see what my hat says? Naughty. But Santa still brings me lots of gifts. So, again, thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you here. And
Yeah.
knowing that you're a mile up the road, or at least 3 miles up the road, we're going to have to get together soon after the
Abs-
holidays when things calm down.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. See what kind of trouble we can get into.
yeah, and we have to give a shout out to Danielle Ratliff, who
Yes.
introduced us. I love her. She is so fabulous and
Yes.
amazing, and
Yes,
she's been
she
on
is.
Empowered Conversations as well. And it's just it's so amazing to connect with you. And thank you, Danielle.
Absolutely. Shout out.
Yes. Well, I really, empowered conversations is really all about getting to like the core, the depth, like the heart
Yep.
and soul of the person that I'm speaking with, my guest. And my first question for you is, what all transpired, what epiphanic moments, what experiences, brought you, like, I love your boundaries, business, and boobs podcast, but there's
Yep.
so much more to you that even that creates all of this, that brings forth all of this. And yeah, I know you're all about empowering women. So
Yep.
just tell me your story.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a lot, because I knew I was gonna be talking to you, and you were kind enough to give me a little bit of a heads up, so I wasn't, like, totally blindsided here. But I really been thinking about what if I had to say, what is the foundation of why I feel so called to help women? And I think it really goes back to I have always been the person who, if you tell me no, I'm going to look at you and go, "Screw you, I'm gonna do it anyway." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, totally you can relate, right? And, I mean, so there is a fundamental thing in me that does not like to be put in a box. And, I don't like that to be seen in others. And so there'd just been some times, throughout my life. And I think, no harm, no foul to the way I was raised, but I was raised to be the mom, be the wife, be the
Mhm,
stay-at-home parent. I do everything I can to support my husband. And that was just
mhm,
how I was raised.
mhm,
But there was a funny thing is that, yeah, I'm really good at that. But there's more, right?
mhm,
There's just more. And I wanted to be able to, express that. And I think that's where you tell me what something, I'm supposed to fit in this box. I'm supposed to have this role. I'm supposed to do this thing. And I'm just like, no, there's something different.
mhm,
And when my husband and I decided, he was in corporate and I did for 14 years. I was the stay-at-home mom, but I also was what I called the professional volunteer. And in my own way, that was like my own entrepreneur kind of things. It was, creating things, running things, getting people to collaborate and do teams and all that. But when my husband and I decided that we and I say we because it was a we decision. We wanted to leave corporate. We kind of looked at each other and said, what the hell are we going to do? We have a house in St. Louis. We have 3 kids in private school. What are we going to do? And we took this enormous leap of faith and said, oh no, we're going to figure it out.
mhm,
And we took our kids. Our house was not for sale. I mean, we had to sell our house. This was just in 2007, and the market was not doing well in where we were in St. Louis. And we came back to Davidson. This is where my family, North Carolina is where I'm from. I have family that's been here forever and a day. and said, well, we're just going to figure it out. And that's kind of what we did. We, we did leverage some of his strengths and sales and certain capabilities, but in the same token, you know, we leverage the things that I do well, which is creating systems and operations and creating, boundaries and making things, work and run. And it was it was after about 12 months of doing this, and my mom looked at me and she goes, "I'm not sure y'all gonna be able to make this work. Josh might should get a job."
Mhm.
I was like, "Fuck that. No." I mean, that's
Yeah.
literally I was like, that made me so more bent and determined that we were going to succeed. And we have. I mean, we have built, I've built several $multi million businesses here. And, so for her to tell me, I don't think you've got what it takes. I was
Mm.
just, oh, it was
Right.
just, that was not good. And then fast forward a few years, I had started I was right before I started Eat by Design, but I was at a High Point furniture market. So it is like one of the three biggest furniture markets, trade shows in the world, really, for people who are in home decor. And I was sitting in the showroom of one of my clients, and I had a buyer that was there, and actually it was a high level Wayfair buyer.
Mhm.
And then I had my client and his business partner, who happened to be like, it was his brother or cousin or something like that, um, family member person. And we were having kind of a tough conversation because, um, there were very clear expectations of what this company needed to do in order to be successful.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, no, we don't want to do it that way. And the buyer was saying, look, if you want to grow this business, the 40% year over year that you want to do, then
Mhm.
you need to do these 5 things. And my client was beginning to see the light, but his business partner leaned over, patted me on the head, kid you not, patted me on the head and said,
Wow.
aren't you cute? I've been doing this for 30 years and I know a hell of a lot more than you.
Wow.
And I said, okay.
Wow.
I said, I think we need to end the meeting.
Mhm.
I was beyond angry and humiliated in front of
Mhm.
a buyer that, oh, by the way, I worked with in several different, capacities. And here's my client. And I mean, like sometimes I don't know if you do this, Stephanie, but when I get really, really angry, tears come to my eyes, right? And so I was like, no, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to get,
Right.
and I got up and I walked away. And I looked at the buyer and I said, I'm sorry, I have to, we need to stop. And I said, I need to leave. And she looked at me, she goes, yeah, 100%. And I got up and she got up and we walked away. And I just left those two men sitting there. And I kind of took a few minutes
Mhm.
and I went back about 30 minutes later and I went to the guy who was the client that I had the most to do with. And I said, I'm sorry. I don't want to work with people like that. And
No.
I'm just not gonna.
Absolutely not.
So, and I mean, that was a significant financial sacrifice, but I was like, no, that is my
Mhm.
line in the
Right.
sand. I am
Right.
not going to be belittled or put down like that.
No.
And so that was really, that was my moment of, I belong here and
Mhm.
don't you dare tell me I shouldn't be here,
Thank
you
you.
know? So that was the second time. It was my mom saying, I don't think you guys can make it work. And then this bozo patting me on the head, which I just cannot,
Like,
I
who
cannot,
does wow.
yeah. And so that was that was one of the second kind of big things. And I think a third kind of massive aha moment for me was, I had started E by Design and we were doing wonderfully well, fabulous. And but I was also getting tired of running a product company. It's really different. And Hurricane Michael came and hit my manufacturing facility in Florida, wiped it out. And I was like, what,
Yeah, you're
what am I
right.
going to do?
Mhm.
And so, of course, and this happened right at the week before, I think it was like the week or two before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we were like
Mhm.
full bore into Q4, which, so much of the business was done in Q4. And I literally had to scramble. And, we had thousands of orders, and I was like, and so I reached out to all of my customers and I said, okay, look, this is what has happened. I need to extend my lead time. I need you to reach out to your customers, explain to them the situation. Yes, we're going to get them the product. Yes, we're going to make it work. But I'm asking for a little bit of grace here that who could have predicted? And by doing that, I bought myself the time that we needed in order to move things to another, factory without losing quality, without losing anything. And the most amazing thing was I did not I expected about 50% of the orders to be canceled, but they weren't. We had about only it was 8.5% of the people
Hmm.
canceled their orders.
Okay.
So by just being honest, transparent,
Mhm.
and forthright. And I mean, I was sending updates because it was a kind of the thing that we were literally like every hour we were getting new information and new information. So I just so over communicated everything that it was able to put us in a situation where, we got through it. We did it. We fulfilled everything we were supposed to do. It wasn't pretty. It was a little ugly, but it got done. And
Mhm.
that made me realize a couple of things. One, again, it's if I set my mind to do something, I'm going to figure out a way to make it
Mhm.
happen. But it also made me realize that I was ready to sell the company. So I spent the next,
Exactly.
12
Sign.
months preparing to do that. And that's what made me be able to have a big exit. And the final aha moment for me, and you said no holds barred, and then I could, say, but when the Supreme Court came down with the Dobbs decision and overturned Roe v. Wade, something
Just gave me cold chills.
rocked me to my core.
Mhm.
And it to me, and I have chills talking about it.
I just
I mean, it rocked me to my core because I will be damned if another human being is going to tell me or you or my daughters or your daughters or my son or this or that what the freaking hell they can do with their own self and their own
Mhm.
bodies.
Mhm.
And it was then that I also said, you know what? It's time to create a movement that says we can be successful, high achieving, the main breadwinners in our family. We do not have to jump through hoops. We do not have to, play the little game of, yes, I'll be the mommy who,
Right.
volunteers for everything. Yeah, I'm going to be the one who organizes, the meal thing for this person, and I'm going to volunteer for every committee. And it is time that we also stop building businesses that were based on a model of a middle-aged man. You
Right.
know, that
Right.
doesn't work for successful women business owners.
Right.
And I am just like this, I will shout this from any rooftop, but it is time that we take us back and we
Mhm.
stand up for ourselves, because when we do this, we are making future generations stronger.
Abso-frickin-lutely. Thank you. Thank you. Just in that experience you had with that, it was the client, there was a buyer and a
Yeah. Yeah, so there was the buyer and then there was the clients, the 2 clients,
mhm.
and one of the clients is the one who patted me on
That's
the head.
okay, okay. So, like, something that struck me, that intuitively struck me, was there was some sort of intimidation
Oh, yeah.
because you're not like, that was ugly. That was he showed himself. He showed what he's thinking about his capabilities, the possibilities
Oh,
that
yeah.
that he feels exist in his life, and he was intimidated by what he felt was a lack in his own
Yes.
identity by dealing with you, which is why he, that's a physical, like, shutting down. Like that's a
Yep.
like touching you on the head, patting you on the head, like boom, like that was his. That had nothing to do with you. It was that what you were sharing in like brought about an intimidation within himself.
Right.
Like,
It rocked his confidence. His confidence was rocked. It was shattered. He realized he wasn't, you know, I don't want to say the smartest in the room, but he didn't know everything, and it went against his societal norms,
hmm
that he is supposed to be the one in charge. He is supposed
right.
to be the one who, always knows the right answer. And it
hmm
just completely rocked his sense of self.
Absolutely. Did he know that he was coming to meet with a woman? Okay, I guess maybe he had never experienced that before. He didn't know what to expect, but boy, you rocked his world, girl. I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
I love that your core values said, no, not, it doesn't matter the money but because that was an area of growth for you,
Oh, yeah.
or expansion for you to go, oh, that I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And I'm not going to have that in my life. I want to work with those who are in alignment
Yes.
with my core values. And that is all
Yes.
about like equality and equanimity and because everyone has value, him included. He has value, but
Yeah.
he doesn't feel, or either he places it upon something that that's not like it's not necessarily at the core
Yeah,
of
and I
him
think
as
so
well.
many agree, and so many industries there are certain industries that are very male dominated
Mhm,
still to
yeah.
this day.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
and truthfully, home decor and furniture from a supplier side,
Yeah.
it is a very male dominated industry.
Okay.
And so with that whole concept of the good old boys club and all of that, those are very real culture, within in this industry.
Mhm.
It is getting better, but it is very much, there's certain industries that happens to be one of them that is, very much has a culture of men know better.
Right. And to that point, moving on to like the whole Roe v. Wade thing,
Mhm.
that interaction, that experience with that gentleman, as well as like what's going on with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, these are all catalysts
Oh, yeah.
that bring about that. Like we. I'll be honest, like I was complacent. Like there is no way they're ever going to do that. There's
Yeah.
no way. Well,
Yeah.
way. And it's so that just shows that there is this dormancy of that which needs to like explode, like blossom, in order to evolve us. Because
Yep.
think about where we were 100 years ago, think about where we were 300 years ago, think about where we were even 50, 60 years ago, and
Mhm.
how far we've come from that. But it's just proof that we have so much farther to go. We have, to bring about the equality, the equanimity, the
Mhm.
the human rights for all
Mhm.
humans. And it's whew, like because that day it's wild because I didn't know. I was headed to Myrtle Beach
Uh-huh.
for a me, myself, and I vacation that I
There
started
you go.
doing in 2020. I do, this like 1 week a year. Sometimes I'll take two.
Uh-huh.
And I was, at the gym, busy packing, getting ready, getting out of here. Had no idea that even
Yeah.
happened. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend Jess at her house, and we're just talking and talking and talking and catching up. And she's like, and then she brought up the overturn of Roe
Mhm.
v. Wade. And I don't remember how it was that she like interjected that in the conversation, and I just was like I was just frozen. I was just stifled.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting cold chills again. I'm like, what? Like, am I?
Yeah.
Did you just speak in Chinese in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So I just think, I don't wanna say, complacency complacency holds us back,
mhm,
but I think it's also always accepting what you think is expected of you
right.
and realizing sometimes the expectations aren't really there, and that you're putting them around yourself. So just having some time to self reflect and
Right.
kind of decide, what do I want versus what do I need, and how am I going to get there to make it happen?
Oh my God, repeat that. I love that. I love that.
What do I want versus what do I need, and how am I going to get there to make it happen?
Abso-freaking-lutely. And be able to use the whole package of that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and just, to further expound upon the whole Roe v. Wade, okay, or right versus left, blue versus red, whatever. You know, I this is where I try and or I try to enact a level of patience with those who don't see the world like I do. I have a lived experience, a pair of feet that fit into a pair of shoes that do not fit into your shoes or his shoes or her shoes. And my experience of the world teaches me. My mind controls what my eyes see, and that's for everyone. It teaches me that this way of thinking is better or good or right. But those people, okay, for instance, if you are fed the narrative, if you grow up
Yeah.
with a specific narrative, with a
Yeah.
specific reality, with a specific level of experience that doesn't match that of yours or mine or someone who in my opinion, is a broader way of thinking only because a broader experience has
Hmm.
taken place in one's life. And if you're fed, oh, they're like killing babies.
Yeah.
And if you think like, because life begins here, life begins at this, and they're killing, and it's not just that. A lot, and when I speak with them, with people who, are so against a woman's right to choose to abort, a pregnancy, it's almost fed to them like, yeah, I'm 8 months pregnant. Yeah, I don't want this. I think I'm going to abort it. No, no. Has that ever happened? I'm not going to say it's never happened, but that is like in the negative direction of zero practically. Is that the reality? The
No.
reality is within the first, few weeks or early on, if they're, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I can't do this. Or, and you're aborting the fetal cells. Or if only if it's happening at like 7, 8, even maybe 9 months, is if there is a severe, you know, uh, uh,
Right.
possible death to the mother or just the life of the mother, the life,
Yeah.
those are the only cases that you're like killing a baby, if the way they want to put it or want to
Yeah.
say.
And I think I actually even I take a step back and even looking at it from a more existential standpoint, which says, you know, we are all different on this planet. And
Hmm.
the only person I have to answer to is myself,
Absolutely.
and then to my own beliefs. And so I don't have the right to tell you what
Exactly.
you should think and feel and believe and how to run your family, your life, your career, whatever. I expect the same grace from you towards me.
Right.
And I think if we all, took that approach of, you're not, you're not God, you're not the universe, you're not the spiritual being, you're not whatever it is you believe, you're not that entity. And as such, you should not be telling other people how they should live their life. It's the whole, don't throw stones at glass houses
Mhm,
concept.
mhm,
We got to give each other the respect, and it comes down to me, it's respect. I will respect
mm,
you and your decisions and your life values as long as you can do the same in return. And if you choose to live in a way that you are not living your life with respect and honesty
right,
and grace, and you choose to be judgmental and
mhm,
act out on those things, then then I am going to have a problem. And then I am going to stand up and I am going to say,
mhm,
no, no, we need
yeah,
to find a way to move forward past this, because this constant butting doesn't
mhm.
work.
No, absolutely
And,
not.
you telling me this and I tell you that, that's not good for anybody. So, let's remember some of the basic tenets that, we all learned like in kindergarten,
Right, right,
we're
right.
supposed to, you don't bite,
Well,
you
I
don't
mean,
hit, you don't, it's the things. It's just basic, humanity
do unto others as you would have
as
them
you'd
do
have
unto
done.
you, and love
Mhm.
thy neighbor as
To
thyself. I mean, that's the
yourself.
only two
That's
statements that
it.
actually mean anything to me.
That's it.
And everything else is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's like, if would you want someone to treat you that way? Think about, like, would you want someone to act that way towards you, or do that
Yep.
towards you, or stifle you? But again, it's the narrative. Like, we all have this paradigm, this hypnotized, brainwashed way in which we operate our lives, and it's in the construct of a paradigm. And doesn't mean our paradigms can shift at any
Yeah.
given moment, or
Yeah.
but that it takes a concerted effort for that to happen. Paradigms don't just, it can,
Mhm.
but if you are locked in this tunnel vision way of thinking, then
Mhm.
everything, the law of perception, everything that you experience is going to feed you.
Yep.
If you watch this versus this,
Yep.
and I said this on a podcast earlier. I said, and I said right and left. I didn't say anything other than right and left.
Mhm.
I said the right thinks vehemently, forcefully, like this particular way, and they'll see something, or read something, or listen to something, they're like, see, see, see. Same
Yeah.
thing on the left. The left thinks vehemently this way, that they feel
Mhm.
so fervently about this, and then they see, see, we all can do that. But
Yep.
it's all about, like, okay, but the more self-aware you are, the more you're able to go, okay, I understand that perspective, but let me understand why you have that perspective, why you
Yes.
have that opinion, why you think that way. I love That's what I'm all about. I want to
Yep.
understand. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it, but
Yeah.
because I still have my life experience.
Yes. Yep. 100%. No, I agree with that 100%. I think, I think too many times, we talk about it as business owners of being caught in the weeds, but I think it really is more of in humanity. We're caught in the weeds of the day to day, and we're not taking enough time to
Mm,
sit back and think about the bigger picture and how we can actually help.
yes.
So we need to experience that a little bit more. We need to be able to slow down, to have a little bit of self-reflection, um, and take that time, like the gophers, to pop your head out of the weeds and look around and see what's really going on.
Right. Right. And I can, again, I'm sure you're very opinionated, very strong-willed. I'm the same exact way. But again, that self-awareness, which it certainly sounds like you have,
Yeah.
that it's like, okay, well, let me at least explore, why.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
then have a valid comeback. Well, you know?
Exactly. No, 100%. So my husband is from Michigan. He
Mhm.
grew up in a small in a around East Lansing, Michigan, and the friends that he grew up with, we probably think very much on the polar opposite sides of the spectrum,
Yeah.
and that's great. But what is amazing about those relationships is they understand and respect that I think completely different than they do,
Mhm. Exactly.
and so we see that.
Mhm.
And when we do have conversations that surround like values or politics or world events, you know, we come at it from a place of we actually want to learn from each other. And we don't, come at it from a place of I'm going to try and convince you to go my way. And through that process is where you have true education
Yes. 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 Yes.
and connection.
I absolutely love that, and I say I can share that I have very similar connections with people who think the complete dichotomous way in
Hmm.
which I do. And there's also, but see, I'm a big honking goob, and I'm a big silly, fun, laugh out loud person, and like, we tease,
Yeah.
like, so
Oh yeah.
but we, again, because we could, it would be easy to
Yeah.
but no, but
Yeah.
it's like, no, I don't want that. I want to, like we've said, just understand and have empathy, and and you want that same directed at you.
Mhm.
or experience with
Yep.
how they feel and treat you.
100%. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. So tell me about like where boundaries, I can assume, but I want you to share
Yeah.
the boundaries, business, and boobs. I love it. I love because that is so out of the box. That's so freaking cool and
Yep.
fun.
Yep. Yep. So well, the concept, is kind of where I discussed, but, um, I actually have my own, business coach, and it's a small group. It's a mastermind group that we're a part of. And so we are from all different parts of the world, different walks
Hmm.
of life, and so forth. But great, because we're all so different. It's great to have so many different kind of experiences on a conversation. So I was literally, I'd been, saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to really more focus, more on helping, the high achieving women, and that we really need to learn how to, create space and create the lives and businesses we want, blah, 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 blah. And oh, by the way, I'm starting this podcast, and this is what it's going to be all about. It's just
Hmm.
all about how we can learn from each other to create that space." And full disclosure, there is a gentleman in my group. His name is Toby, and he is from Australia. And so we were bouncing names off for each other. And he all of a sudden popped up and he goes, "I know it. It's boundaries, business, and boobs, Heather. I mean, come on." He goes, "You know enough about like Australian culture and how you can be cheeky, but make your point across." He goes, "American women are going to love this." And I was
Yeah.
like, "You're hilarious. And you're right. You are 100% right." So, Boundaries, Business, and Boobs was named by Toby, who is in
Oh
Australia.
wow! I would not have thought that. I would have
Mhm.
never.
Yeah,
Wow.
but he was like, "No, we need to empower you and give you, like this is an empowering, you know, concept and entity, and this is a
Hmm.
empowering way to encapsulate it and name it." So yeah,
That
yeah.
is awesome. That is freaking. So, is he's still part of your excuse me your mastermind?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I
Yeah.
got to be a part of that mastermind, girl. I
Yeah.
love mastermind
And
groups.
we it's a great group. We meet each week. We're taking a break for the holidays.
Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, no, like we have a set hour. We do about an hour and a half every week. And I mean, we plan things around it. Like I will, not be on an airplane because I need to do this, or I will,
Oh,
we all are like this. We do not sacrifice this time with each other. And it's great because we've built great relationships, and some of these people I have never met in person.
oh my God, girl. Let me tell you, 2020 was such a phenomenal like
Mhm.
space for that to happen. I connected with so
Yeah.
many people all over the world. So many
Yeah.
people all over the world have been on Empowered Conversations. Empowered
Yeah.
Conversations was born towards the end of 2020, and oh my gosh, so the a couple was it. It was last Christmas. Two
Oh,
of the women, they live up in Pennsylvania, um, about an hour outside of where my boyfriend grew up, and
mhm.
we were going there for the holidays. And I'm like, we have got to meet. We had been. They co-hosted
Yeah.
a. They had both been on Empower Conversations.
Mhm.
They had co-hosted together Head to Soul in Clubhouse. A Clubhouse is just like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
chat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, we gotta meet. I'm coming up there. I'm gonna be that close. I mean, so we got, and I've met with one of them twice. Edna Valentino, she's fabulous, and
Mhm.
Deborah Atella. Atella, she runs a podcast called Atella Like It Is,
Oh, that's
and
great.
I know, and it was just. And then this past May, I met other people in a
Mhm.
large group. Like we co-hosted a quantum healing retreat out Arizona,
Mhm.
and it's like the friendships that have been cultivated. And what's wild is because you had been online and talking like this so often, like we were so often doing that. It's
Yep.
like there was no fear of like, I wonder what Stephanie's like. I wonder what Edna's like. I wonder what Lacey's like. I wonder what Christina's like. I wonder what
No.
John is like. There was none of that. It's like you jumped in knowing like, oh, I can't wait to meet this person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I
No, I
God,
had a
yes.
similar experience. So in last this past June, I made a decision that I was going to take a full 30 days away from the business. I was not going to be involved. I didn't want to, like I needed to whoop, take a little break.
Mhm.
And had one of my friends from this group, excuse me,
It's okay. Yeah, drink the water.
said, "Hey, I'm going to be in California for these dates. Do you want to fly out and meet me?" She's also from Australia. And excuse me, golly. And
Hold
I
your arms
said,
up.
"That's good.
Opens up the
That's great. I
lungs.
didn't know that trick.
Trick.
Okay,
Okay.
trick. Awesome." So she's like, "Yep, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be there, for like a week, blah, 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 blah." She'd been at Mexico, she'd done Machu Picchu, and now she was gonna be there. And I was like, this was 2 days before she was going. I was like, "All right, I'll meet you there." And so she and 3 or 4 other of our friends that we had never met in person before went out to California. And sure enough, we had the best time. The thing that was the most funny that we kept talking about was, "You're taller than I thought. You are shorter than I thought."
Yes. 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 Yes.
It was that thing. And I had another experience in Miami with a similar thing that same month that, you know, I made it was, intentional about going and doing things that were kind of different and a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And doing the first Me, Myself, and I vacation was the first time I had done something like that. I've always vacationed with others. There was always at
Yeah.
least one other person doing something like but that when I did that in 2020, I think it was July, it was specifically to
Mhm.
like I just felt like this slice down the middle of me.
Yeah.
And while, a lot of people are like, oh, Stephanie's, crazy, she's nuts, like she's this big personality. There was this level of I'm not like I'm playing small. I'm playing small. And I went down there specifically to release anything that was blocking me from that
Mhm.
which, to really blossom and bring my voice, bring my heart to the world. And by God, when I got back, it's like, boom, 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 cat
Mhm.
like a snowball. Then all of a sudden there was this new awareness. I was
Yep.
meeting these people and meeting these people and being a
Yep.
part of this and being a part of that and empower conversations. And then, it was like, and every year,
Mhm.
like this past year, I went down and when I got back, I had this new idea
Mhm.
called Ask Steph Funny.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a call-in show where people
Mhm.
call in, and I got the idea. I love Chelsea Handler,
Uh-huh.
and she has a podcast called Life Will Be the Death of Me. My God, yeah, we saw her a few months ago. I saw her
Did you?
live,
Oh, fun.
and here in Charlotte, and she had someone call in.
Mhm.
And she's funny, but she's funny, but yet she's raw and she's real. She's matter
Yes.
of fact. This is not jokes here.
No.
And I was like, and I'm on the elliptical and I'm listening. She had Martha Stewart on, and as her guest, like her
Yeah.
celebrity guest. But then people were
Okay.
calling in,
Oh, okay.
and this one girl called in and she was like, I'm a lesbian and I've recently come, within the past 6 months, I've come out to my family and
Mhm.
friends. And at first my mother and father were good with it. They were like, we support you. And then all of a sudden, and she goes, and all my friends were like, oh, we love you. We love you. We love you. You're amazing.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter, you know?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
all of a sudden her parents were like, well, you should be dating this guy. You should try to find a guy, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Chelsea was like, first off, your parents' job was to bring you into the world, but it's not your job to live your life for them.
For them.
And it was just like, boom. And I was like, oh man, I can do that. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. And then I
Mhm.
had an idea of a co-host, Jeff, and that's still coming. It's just
Mhm.
that there's been so much that
Yeah.
I haven't been able to bring forth that. Hopefully in the new year.
Hopefully in the new year. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been doing a trip like that by myself for years, and again, in my September sabbatical is what I called it.
Mhm.
I took it up a notch, and I went and stayed in an container off grid in the North Carolina mountains.
Oh,
So,
girl. By
like,
yourself and by yourself, right? Yes.
I did take my dog.
Okay, okay, okay.
I did take my dog, but yeah, so I had no internet, no running water, so it was like I hiked and I read and I spent a few days, and it was definitely like I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this again." It was one of
Yeah.
those, it was just so peaceful. I was like, the no access to, like, water and the roughening it aspect, I was like, "No," I mean, my husband was like, "Are you really sure you wanna do this? Do you realize what that means?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm in." I am all about this is my September sabbatical is all about trying things that I've never done and new. So, yeah, so it was amazing, and I highly recommend it. If you've never done it, you should try it, even if it's just for one night.
Gives me an idea of something. Yes.
Yeah, super
That it
fun.
but and that would be scary, you know? But again, you hear, people, going into, like, there's, Aubrey Marcus. Do you know who Aubrey Marcus
Yeah,
is? Okay,
mhm,
well, he went into a tunnel for 2 or 3 days,
yeah,
and he was just in complete darkness. But again, like, what that does for you, having no access to that which makes life comfortable
mhm, mhm,
is opening more of awareness, more access of what's possible.
mhm.
'Cause if it Yeah, go ahead.
It's making things slow down. It's
Yes.
forcing you to slow down because a lot of, entrepreneurs, we have a hard time stopping and being still. And so
Mhm. Yep.
you have right? So you have to create and you have to literally create the moments to make yourself still.
Mhm.
And it's when you do that that you open up that's like what you said, that creativity. And it's because you're finally still, which allows your brain to it's almost like a slow motion to me, for me, where it's like my brain kinda slows down in a slow motion kind of way, and I get just instant clarity.
Yes. Yes. And have you ever seen the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh, yeah.
You remember, and towards the beginning when he's like, in an infinite world of infinite possibilities, why do we keep creating the same relationships, the same jobs, the same experiences
Yeah.
over and over and over in an infinite world of infinite possibilities, and doing things like, what you're sharing, what I'm sharing, what Aubrey Marcus does is, again, the greater access, because you don't know what you don't have access to until you've made yourself aware that it even exists. And
Right.
I often say, if anything is possible for anyone, anything is possible for anyone.
Mhm.
But it's not in your wheelhouse. Have you read the book
Right.
E2 Square or E Squared?
Yes, I have.
So
Yes,
then,
I
yeah,
have.
it's along that same line, like, when
Mhm.
I'm not used to, so I drive a white Nissan Altima. I don't notice red Toyota trucks.
Right.
But all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, Stephanie, notice a Toyota truck," and then all of a
And you
sudden they're
see
just everywhere.
everywhere. Mhm, mhm. Yep, same thing, same thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it's like a sensory deprivation thing where you get into the tank and, it's a saltwater tank and you just float in it and it's like you're closed in it and it's completely dark and it's kind of the sensory deprivation. Have you ever tried that?
There was a float tank up in Huntersville. You're probably talking about the one is, near, Outback and
Yeah.
Carrabba's? Yeah,
Yeah, I've
I've
never
done that
done
one.
it.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
What
Yes.
was it like?
Okay, so the first time when, like, I it's indescribable,
Mhm.
what it's like, but because it takes that's why they recommend 3 sessions,
Yeah,
because, it's something new, but it's like, it's only for an hour, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it does, like, it'll make you purge. Like, when I got home, I was throwing up, but that
Oh my
throwing
god.
up was a good thing. I
Yeah.
wasn't sick, I was purging, because
Yep.
being in again, doing something completely that you've never had even access to,
Yeah.
brings that up. And then the
Yeah.
second time, there was no throwing up, but there was like this clarity, because
Mhm.
I did the Groupon, then I bought the other 2 sessions, and then the third one, it was like, wow, and I just wanted to write. I just wanted to
Oh, yeah.
write and write and write, and just so, yes, I highly
That's cool.
recommend
Yeah,
that.
that's something on my 2023 list of I wanna do that.
Yeah, and it's affordable. It
Yeah,
actually is an affordable thing to do,
yeah.
and, I'm not sure if that float tank is in the same exact place, but it might be.
Well, and I mean, they have them all over, but yeah, I was just
Yeah,
really because talking about this made me think of, it's kind of like doing that in that float tank of the sensory deprivation and, exposing kind of that forces you to be still in a way that's a little probably more accessible to people.
and ironic that we're talking about that, I don't know if you do tarot cards. Does
Mhm.
anybody? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, waning quarter moon. I have been my father had a stroke. Okay, Stephanie, spit it
Mm.
out. Spit out what you're trying to say. On the October 20th,
Oh,
my boyfriend's one of his cousins um was
oh
found
no.
dead. Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And the very next day, my dad had a stroke. And that was like this catapult of a tower card, boom,
Mhm.
snowball. And like it's been rough. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said this on a couple episodes here lately. I've experienced like this unfounding anger, but and I felt
Yeah.
like and I was like, I'm in a tower card moment. I'm in a tower card, like where everything is just like
Yep.
breaking down for that, which is to build anew or to bring forth what's more in alignment with my purpose, with my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, when was it? So the full moon,
Mhm.
the overall theme, I pulled the world card,
Okay.
the world. And then last week I pulled no, that was last week. And then this week for the waning quarter moon, I finally got the tower. And I was like, because I've been telling
Mm.
people I'm experiencing a tower. I'm experiencing a tower. So when we're experiencing a tower, it seems rough and it is rough, but again, awareness of,
Mhm.
okay, I'm thankful and I'm grateful. And I finally got that confirmation. And then today I pulled the hanged one. And the hanged one is all about just complete, just like
Yeah.
surrender
Yeah.
and allow what is it? It's TBS. It's trust, trust,
Mhm.
balance, surrender, allow. And but it's also, again, it's, everything is about going within, going within,
Yep.
going within, whether it's, in a dark cave, or whether it's, somewhere where there's no electricity or running water, going
Yep.
within. And I do have to force myself. I have to, because I am and it's like, no, stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, and it is difficult for me, as one I'm sure can imagine,
Yeah. Yeah.
is but there is a
Yeah.
lot of clarity that comes from it.
There is. There always is. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kinda like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, awesome.
Yeah. Well, Heather, you are amazing. You are amazing. This has certainly been an empowered conversation. We could have
Wow.
gone, down a couple rabbit holes, but
Yep.
we could be here for 6 hours. But we're trying to keep it at an hour.
Here we go.
Yeah.
No, it's
And
amazing.
we on most certainly, and Danielle is in Gastonia, so there is
Mhm.
every reason in the world why the three of us should do something. And I would, I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know if you have any room, but I would. I guess I'm putting you on the spot. I would love to be a part of your mastermind group.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can talk about that and,
yeah,
let
yeah.
you know about
Whatever
it.
that
Yeah.
entails. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That is fantastic. Cool. This has been super fun. I love it.
yeah. It always is. It's just so super fun, and it was awesome to be on your podcast. That was
Well,
super awesome. I
thank
can't
you.
wait to see that. Comes out
Yeah.
on my birthday. Holy cow, that's gonna
I
be.
know.
And
Mhm.
there I'm revealing some things that I haven't talked about. So
There we go. It'll be fun.
yeah,
What a great birthday present
yeah,
and surprise.
yeah. Well, girl, I sure
Awesome.
hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy
Yeah,
Holidays, and
you too.
just a wondrous, most amazing New Year. And that goes for everybody. I will resume Empowered Conversations in the new year. There will not be an episode next week. So that means, you know what? You got like a whole bunch of time, a couple weeks to catch up. Just go back and rewatch all the fabulousness.
There you
Anyway,
go.
thank you so much, everybody, for
Awesome.
joining us today. And thank you, Heather. You stay right here. I'm just going to say goodbye to
All right.
everybody. Bye, everybody. Wait. Oh, boy.